The single biggest lie in politics is the lie that Republicans are the party of the rich. The dirty little secret is the rich do just fine with big government. Big business does great with big government. They get in bed with big government. They have armies of lawyers and lobbyists and accountants. They carve up all sorts of special rules to benefit them. Take, for example, Dodd-Frank. Dodd-Frank was sold to the American people as stopping the problem of too big to fail. Now, what's happened since then? The big banks have become bigger because they put in massive regulations that only the big banks can deal with, and the people who are being driven out of business are the small banks, the community financial institutions. And the truth of the matter is that wasn't an unintended consequence. That was the intended consequence. You know, President Obama recently has been talking a great deal about income inequality, and I welcome that. I think it's great that the president's talking about income inequality. And in particular, I'd like him to address the undeniable reality that income inequality has gotten significantly worse under the Obama administration. That the Obama economic agenda is exacerbating income inequality. Right now today, the top 1%, the millionaires and billionaires that the president loves to demagogue, earn a higher share of our national income than any time since 1928. The policies of this administration, out of control spending and taxes and regulation, are hammering small businesses. And the people who are getting hurt, they're not the titans of industry. If you were flying a private jet 5 years ago, you're still flying a private jet. The people who have been hurt by the Obama economy have been the most vulnerable among us. They've been young people, Hispanics, African Americans, single moms. You know, I try to look at every policy issue from the perspective of my dad. 1957, washing dishes, making 50 cents an hour. If my dad were washing dishes today, the odds are very, very high he would have lost his job because of the crushing taxes and regulations that are hammering small businesses. 2/3 of all new jobs come from small businesses. If my dad hadn't lost his job, the odds are overwhelming he would have had his hours forcibly reduced to 28 or 29 hours a week because the threshold for Obamacare is 30 hours a week. And he wouldn't have been able to pay his way through the University of Texas at 29 hours a week. He wouldn't have been able to feed his kids at 29 hours a week. And if he doesn't have that first job, washing dishes, he doesn't get his second job working as a cook, which means he doesn't get his third job working as a teaching assistant, which means he doesn't get his fourth job as a computer programmer at IBM. We need to be focusing on how policies impact those who are struggling, and every policy we think about and talk about should focus on making it easier for those who are struggling to climb that economic ladder and to achieve the American dream. And there is no policy that is more potent in that regard than school choice, because it's about empowering kids, giving low-income kids, giving Hispanic kids, giving African American kids the same ability to choose that the rich and middle class have always had.